Alright boys, hello and welcome to MTA episode 22 for the 8th of October 2018. My name is Mosen, thank you very much for tuning in again. And we're PvPing here in the Warzone Gulch a little bit. And we have some topics for you. The topics is the Prot Dream, Prot Paladin, the Mysterious Torch, and the Mysterious Chicken, and Twitch plans. Or life plans, life goals, whatever you want to call it. Really. This mage is already going on our sack for quite the long time. But let's jump right into it, because we don't want to make this 10,000 minutes long. And yeah. So, topic number one, the mysterious... No, actually we'll start with the Mysterious Chicken. The Mysterious Chicken. I made a short video, it's nothing big. I made a short video about a certain chicken that you can get in Westfall, right? And sorry about that. You can get it by just basically following the instructions in the video. And it's a cool pet you can get while you're leveling. You can get it as soon as you enter Westfall. You don't have to be a certain level, you don't have to do anything. All you basically do is hand in a quest and that's it. I'll show you in the video. Most of you probably know this already, I just wanted to get it out there because I wanted to make the second gold farming tips video. If you haven't checked out the first one yet, go do that. It's a really good opportunity to make gold in low levels especially. And still, sorry, I'm still a little bit sick. It's a bit of a pain to record this. That's why there haven't been any MTAs out yet. But yeah, since I'm still sick, I slept so long and I don't have time. I want to get this the Twitch stream up in a second again. So I made a short chicken video and this MTA for you guys. That is the Mysterious Chicken. And the Mysterious Torch is something, I'm gonna put it into the video right here, that I saw the other day on in the auction house actually. So I was browsing the offense because, you know, the Prot Dream, and then I realized I have to check for shields. But what I saw was rather interesting because I saw an item called the Dim Torch. And the Dim Torch is something that shouldn't be in the game. Because the Dim Torch, as it turns out, is a relic of the old survival skill, if I'm not completely mistaken. Where you would make torches and campfires to lighten up the night, because the night in World of Warcraft used to be very very dark, so that you actually needed those torches to light your way. And for some reason, right, I checked Vanilla DB, and you know, it says to create this item you need to cast a spell called Light Torch, and Light Torch was probably something of that. Either you had it or a survival skill. Survival skill used to be a secondary profession. And so I found that item in the auction house. It's held in offhand, requires level 5, and increases the spirit of people in your party by 4, I think. And it's basically a campfire you wield in the offhand. Now what makes it so special? A, it shouldn't be in the game, and it shouldn't be in the auction house. So somebody created this item and put it on the auction house. So now, if you know how that is done, please let me know, because I'm into that kind of stuff. I love this kind of shit. You know, scrapped stuff that no one can get, but somehow it's on the auction house. So it's a Mysterious Torch. I want you to tell me in the comments if you know how to create this, or what it is actually, or if you know more about the survival skill that got scrapped from Vanilla. Because I think stuff like that, exactly stuff like that, is what, you know, really gets, man, it's just very interesting for me to see that kind of stuff. So basically it was a skill, as I said, to lighten up the night and to create certain stuff, and I would really love to see a return. I know some people are against anything that wants to return or is not in this private server 1.12 client, but I would really love to see you know, a survival skill thing return, because what, you know, possibilities are endless again. And you know me theory crafting about stuff like this, you know, there's so many possibilities. I'm just thinking of you know, there used to be like fires you could put down, and also the campfire you're having with cooking used to be in a different secondary skill. So like a bigger fire that you can put down in the wild, only usable outside, for example, that would increase maybe stuff, your health regeneration rate, so that while you're out questing, you could, for example, use that kind of stuff to replenish your party, or if you're higher in the skill, you could have a mana per 5 fire out or something, a fire that increases your cooking time or decreases it, stuff to craft or to cook. I don't know, like loads of stuff. Again, like whatever your imagination is, or a raid, like a bonfire, raid fire, something like that, or I don't know, survival skills of when you log out. This, for example, a fire that you would put down on the raid that would increase your party's spirit by 20 or something. Just like a little tiny boost. So it's really nice to have if you have someone out there with that kind of stuff in your caster groups or something, right? For a boss fight or something, or someone that wears a big torch. That there's like a blue torch that you can have that increases run speed, right? Increases run speed while not in combat or something. Because you lighten up your way, you could use it for after a wipe, run speed for the party, like 10% or something. Get quicker through raids. I don't know. A lot of stuff that I thought about, and that was just my thoughts on it. I like the idea. I have so many cool ideas. Maybe you could build like a small tent, and with like a camp you would set up in like a 2-minute cast. And if you would do that in the wild, out in the wild, while you're leveling, if you finish that cast and log out in that tent, basically, you would get a rested XP bonus next time you log in, so that it counts like an inn, for example. Why not something like this, right? Or it stacks up, like when you're logged out in that tent, it stacks up a I don't know, like a run speed bonus, like the rested XP bonus. So next time you log in, after 10 hours you log in, you have like a 10% run speed bonus for an hour or something, or I don't know, 10 minutes. Let it be something cool. I don't know. So that's the mysterious torch that gave me, made me put up my tinfoil hat again and conspire about possible theories. Now that's enough on the torch, I think. If you want, you can check it out. Dim Torch is the item's name. And now you saw that we just won for the Glorious Alliance. The battleground has been decided against the scum of the Horde. I have a prop Paladin, and yeah, as you might have noticed, we usually play Horde on the server, and that's a Druid. Resto Druid is what I want to play with my friend Natty, and he is playing a mage there. But the thing is, we're only playing those together, and he wasn't here for the weekend, and I was bored, and I want to step my Twitch game up a little bit, and I was streaming. So I thought, hey, you got this silly list here, and a video series called How to Make Tryhard Players, or How to Make Min-Maxes Throw Up. And if I would find the list, there's a couple of things on here like Smite Priest, Moonkin, Rot Paladin, Tiger's Fury Spec Feral Druid, Arcane Mage, all that kind of stuff. And Shockadine, all that kind of stuff. And then basically I thought, okay, now we've done Nax. I needed to do something, and what can I do? And I thought maybe now's a good time to take the most interesting part, because let's face it, Moonkin is just not my thing, okay? Moonkin is something that Desna will play, and Moonkin is something that Hamster plays. You can get all of the information there. And I just didn't like the casters. But what I do like is tanking. And so I thought, since I already tried out a little bit of tanking in raids with my other paladins, and I saw that you can make it out to work, and you just gotta know how. I thought, okay, you know what? Every time Natty is not here, I'll play this paladin, and I'll make a guide on the Resto Druid, and then the Prot Paladin, right? Prot Paladin guide, in-depth guide, completely in-depth, so you know what your stuff is, what you have to do, what you have to gear, what you have to do in the talents, what not to do. And especially important is what you don't have to do, what you can't do. Now, really quickly, let's go through the pros and cons of the Prot Paladin, because we're gonna see it in the guide anyway. But again, I'm trying stuff out, right? I like to theory craft about stuff, and I have no problem to level to 60. It's pretty quickly for me. I like that stuff. So first things first, of course, you don't need a Prot Paladin. If you have somebody that wants to play a Prot Paladin, good for him, because now you can make it work. I've tried it, it works. I think his name was Justine or something from Sanctum on Lightbringer. He actually had Thunder Fury and he tanked all the time as a Prot warrior, Prot Pally. But you don't need to have it. Of course, this is like an optional thing. If you have a guy that wants to play Feral, right, and you don't want to kick him out of the raid because you're absolutely min-maxing, you know, let him play Feral. It works. It's absolutely fine, right? And sometimes it's actually better for that thing, because all these specs bring you something special, and people have been overlooking this. Not so far in the past, there was absolutely nobody playing red. And there was no Asfend, there was no me, there was no Drakova, right? Maybe they were there already, of course they were there, but on like the first private servers, nobody really played red at all. Maybe I'm mistaken and they were already playing red then, but it was very few, right? It was very, very few people. Same for Feral, nobody played it. And then on Northdale, there was like this movement coming in, and people saw, okay, 3% crit on melee is pretty sick, even in a tank group. So, what does the Prot Paladin bring you as unique stuff? First of all, he brings this Blessing of Sanctuary. Blessing of Sanctuary is a buff that you place on the player, and you can buff the whole raid with it. That will deal damage when that target that has this buff blocks the attack, holy damage. Well, that's good for your tanks, basically. But the cool thing is that the Blessing of Sanctuary reduces damage taken from all sources by a certain amount. And that on the whole raid will make difference. It makes your raid a little bit more, tenacious and hard and, resilient towards AoE damage, for example. So that's really good to have, especially now MC, everything doesn't matter, really. But starting in Blackwind Lair, you appreciate those kind of buffs. You like having that. So Blessing of Sanctuary is a big one, and now you can say, well, you know what, a Holy Paladin could also spec into that. And while you're right, they can spec into that, but then they aren't deep holy anymore. And usually it's, from experience, I can say that it's rather difficult to make Paladins, especially Holy Paladins, fond of the idea to spec into protection when they just want to heal. They like to have Seal of Command with the rest of their points, or Deep Holy, or Kings is the most you can get out of them. So you don't have to waste points or a Holy Pally on this, and you can have a Prot Paladin go for the Sank. And he needs it anyway, so why not let him take it. Now, the other perfect example for what makes a Prot Paladin good is he is an AoE tank. And as an AoE tank, what makes it good? You can off-tank a lot of shit, like a lot of trash, a lot of ads from boss fights. You can off-tank them while and not waste time with tanking everything. Like for a Prot warrior, right? For most people it's no problem, but if you have trash groups, MC again doesn't matter. He's good at the core hounds and at the imps, and maybe Gar. It's amazing to have a Prot Paladin. Okay, those are 3 situations. Other than that, just he should just wheel a Nightfall. I'll get into that. But in Blackwing Lair, starting there, and in AQ40 and Nax, you would appreciate a proper AoE tank that is geared since MC, that is geared and knows what the hell's going on, and that you can trust, and that can hold the aggro of a lot of mobs really, really easily. That will be appreciated. So that's your Prot Paladin right there. That's his absolute strength, of course. Now, what comes with that is he doesn't have a taunt, and that's obviously a counterpoint for that, and that's true. And why that is true That is not his job, basically, but I'll get into that in the counterpoints. The next one that also comes with having loads and loads of AoE potential is that you're dealing a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. And this obviously shines the most in 5-man dungeons. Prot Paladin is really fucking good in 5-man dungeons. But of course, you know, what you really want to look into is that also in the raid, the damage doesn't go away just because you're in the raid. You're still dealing a lot of damage, right, as to those ants. So you have a high damage tank that deals damage to a lot of targets at the same time. Now that being said, your aggro obviously is also huge. You're off-tanking, so that means the DPS usually start on a different target. You need to give this Prot Paladin, like the normal tank, a couple of seconds to get the aggro, right? That's just what you need to do. You just need to do that. And but when he does have it, he won't lose it, usually, if he's not completely doing something wrong. Now give that Prot Paladin a PI, for example, right, and you'll see what will happen. Sorry, I had to get this flag here real quick. Alright, and you will see what happens with the aggro. So you have big damage, huge aggro, and it's a good AoE off-tank. Now here's the next thing. If he is not tanking, and you really have the situation where, okay, this is like a single target boss fight where you can't really do anything. Prot Paladin has Seal of Righteousness, and if you combine a Nightfall that increases the spell damage taken of the target as chance on hit by 15%, and you use that with a Seal of Righteousness, you have around 6 to 7 proc per minute on the target. And that means it's a much higher uptime of that Nightfall debuff on the raid boss than any other class, maybe a melee hunter, but let's face it, melee hunter is the one thing I give you is pretty meh. Maybe I'll make a video on that. So just so this video doesn't get too long, a Nightfall wielding Paladin with Seal of Righteousness, right, when he can't tank anything at the moment, is really good. Really good. You have around a 40 to 50% uptime of the Nightfall, and I'm not even joking, this has been tested and everything. It's crazy good. So you're boosting your caster camp with that guy, and if anything is happening, like that's the case when you have enough healers, when you have way too many healers anyway, or you want to maximize the damage because it's on farm. In the case that you have too many, or you don't have enough healers anyway, you can say, okay, you know what, you can tank anything here, put on your cloth robes, right, and just heal. Because a Prot Paladin is good at healing anyway. So that is the next big advantage. Let's get into the cons. He's a mana user, right? That is usually not a problem if you downrank, but yeah, you can, of course you don't want to use the max rank of everything, so you downrank. But as a mana user, he shines in 5-man dungeons, is another pro. He's really good in 5-man dungeons. Combine him with a red, if you have a red, with the Sanctity Aura, 10% more holy damage, 10% more threat, and damage for them both. They boost each other, and it's really crazy. He has no taunt, that's the absolute contra argument, and that is a big one. But as I said, if you're not the one running after mobs getting them, you're like a guy that stands there and you're the absolute supporter and you do all the AoE tanking, and if you're not, you're supporting by getting the Nightfall out on the boss or healing, then that's not a bigger problem. That's why I meant you need to know what your job is. And yeah, that's basically it, right? So a good mixture. What we're going for on Official Classic is going to be 2 Prot Warriors, 1 Feral that will be off-tank as Bear and DPS when he is needed to, and 1 Prot Paladin that absolutely goes tryhard. Keep in mind those people need to be on their A game. They can't be people that they can't be slow. Let's just face it. It's hard enough as it is already. You can't really do that. And yeah, that's I think it for me. One last thing I wanted to get out there, because otherwise this video is going to be so fucking long. And this is an important one if you have like 1 minute of your time and you haven't done it yet. I'm really planning to up my game in YouTube and Twitch, and like I've been streaming for quite a bit, been growing that channel a little bit. So if you have 1 or 2 minutes of your spare time, surf over to twitch.com/mosenlel, and you get the link out of the description, of course. And I would very much appreciate a follower there, because then we can make it to 200, and that would be awesome. I would really look forward to that. And if you can, check out, check if I'm online on Twitch. Would appreciate seeing you guys on there on the live stream. So yeah, I need you guys' support, and you've been very generous with it. Thank you very much for subbing. And if you can, go over there, hit the follow button. It's free. You can see when I'm live, and I would love to see people in the chat. So thank you very much for watching. It's been a long one, I'm sorry. And I apologize for my voice, I'm still sick, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.